Hello everyone, welcome back to the first class of video editing agency series, right? So when I first started freelancing as a video editor, I never thought that I'll actually start an agency, right? Which is called the boring edit and all of this stuff. And let me actually tell you the story.
My name is Tharun. Video editing has changed my life, and it can change yours too. You know, Tharun speaks quality, quantity.
So welcome back guys, how are you doing? So first things first, I just want to tell you that the dream of starting video editing agency or any other agency, for most of the people it all starts with being a freelancer, right? Especially for me, I was freelancing for a couple of years, maybe 2-3 years as a video editing freelancer, and then I started getting more and more clients. I was not able to do it all by myself. There was a point when I was like, okay, maybe what I can actually do is I can train a couple of editors, I can build a team, right? And then I actually started doing it. I started with one person, 2 people, 3 people, 4 people. And then the team just expanded a lot. And then I was like, okay, maybe I can make 2 different teams, team alpha and team beta. And then I can have like a battle between these people. And I'll have 2 different managers, one for team alpha and one for team beta. And we started getting a lot of clients. We did a good job. We expanded it all while being a full-time college student. And in the next 4 classes, I'll actually take you through this journey, right? So this is class number 39, right? And class number 40, 41 and 42, we'll be talking about a lot of stuff. Most of these things seem intuitive to most of the people, but some of those things you actually need to learn. Like one of the biggest differences that you see while being a freelancer and while being a agency owner is that the ability to actually build a good team and also to keep the team together with you, right? That's what you need to focus on, right? Most of the things like doing a good project, finding clients and all of those things, these are kind of same. All the things will remain same. The major only difference being that you're not just an individual player at this point of time. You have a team, right? You're paying them. And okay, we'll be talking about all of this stuff, but let's actually go through it. Like the first class number 39, which is this, we will be talking about the agency basics, right? And after this class, we'll be talking about, how do we actually hire? What are the 5 major things, 5 principles that you have to see while you're hiring a person or while you're trying to, basically build a team, right? We'll talk about 5 different principles. These are pretty intuitive, but very, very, very important, because if you don't have a right team, right, you'll not just be losing 1 or 2 deals, but these things will get a bad name for your agency, right? This will, like, word of mouth spreads like a wildfire, and you won't be able to, it'll get difficult with time to get clients for yourself, right? So having a strong team is very, very important, and we'll actually talk about 5 different things that you need to focus upon while you are trying to hire a team, like hire a person or build a team or something like that, right? And then in the next class number 41, we'll be talking about how do we scale the agency, right? How do you start as a one single individual freelance player to how do we build like a big team, right? What are the things that you need to consider? For example, in my case, I had a team of like 8 people in alpha team and 8 people in the beta team. If required, what would I've done is put all of these people in the same team alpha, right? But why did I split it? What was the exact reason why I split it into 2 teams? Because it was basically to create that inner competition, right? And also to reward the better players inside the team. So all these kind of strategies we'll be talking about the scaling agency will part. And then finally we'll be talking about how do you set it free, right? Because maybe some of you want to do this full time, but maybe some of you wouldn't want to do all of these things full time, right? Maybe some of you are like me who have full-time job with them, who go to the office every single day, who have 2 different channels, who also have this video editing agency, some other mentorship course and all of this stuff. So maybe you don't want to do it full time. Maybe you just want to set it free and run it in auto mode, and maybe weekly once or twice you just take an update, right? So how do you do that? That's what we're going to talk about in class number 42. So welcome to the first class, which is class number 39, where we'll be talking about the agency basics, right? How do you set it up? Like, what are the minimum basic things required for you to start your own agency, right? Let's get started. The first things first, the building block is here. what is the difference? What is the difference between a freelancer? Maybe most of you already started editing videos for your clients right now, so you are a freelancer at this point of time. What's the difference between a freelancer and an agency? What? First things first, very simple thing. A freelancer is basically an individual player, right? Independent player. Whereas in an agency, you have a team involved, right? So there are so many things that you need to consider. The team dynamics. How do you build and scale in the team? How do you have this inner competition so that the entire team gets motivated all the time? All of these things are there in agency, but these are kind of missing in freelancing. And that's why just freelancing is a bit easier when you compare it to building your own agency kind of stuff, right? And the next major difference is that as a freelancer, like imagine you're just working on a project. Like how many projects would you be able to do? Not a lot, right? Obviously. So basically, most of the freelancers, they deal with smaller projects, right? Low ticket, not exactly low ticket clients. You might be having a very, very, very high ticket client, but what I mean by high ticket client is like basically you get paid more, right? So this is ideal for small projects, whereas an agency, for example, imagine Netflix came to you, right? And it wants their documentary to be edited, right? An ideal case. So agency would be able to do everything from the start till the end, right? Because there are so many people in the team, very diverse, they'll be able to deliver everything, right? But if you're a freelancer, then the agency can directly hire you as a freelancer for specific part inside the work, or maybe Netflix will directly come to you and approach you for some specific parts inside their entire documentary, right? So freelancer, it's for basically smaller projects, but agency, it's for bigger and more diverse projects, right? And then the next major difference, obviously, very obvious, limited scalability over here. But whereas an agency, it's better in terms of scalability. You can scale it, right? There's a difference. That's what the exact difference is. And a freelancer can easily become an agency if he has right experience and also enough management oriented skills, right? Managerial skills or something like that, right? So, okay, let's get started with it. What, how, and when should you start your own video editing agency, right? Let's get started. Let's start with the basics. What are the things that are necessary? What are the essentials of starting your own agency? Very easy, yaar. What do you think? The first one is you need a toolkit, right? Basically a set of tools that you'd be using in order to maybe communicate with each other and all of this stuff, right? What's the toolkit required for you? And then the second thing, you need a professional website, because most of the times an agency, like as a freelancer, you wouldn't need a website. You would just need maybe a portfolio, or most of the freelancers right now, at least video editing freelancers, they just have a drive folder in which they have their works, like all of the work mentioned, and then they just send it and they just try to get work out of there. But as an agency, you need a website, right? Because here you're gonna blast out a lot of mails, right? Because you want scale, right? Otherwise you won't be able to feed in your team. You won't be able to, pay your team, and then the entire agency will just come down. So professionality, like the point of being professional is very, 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 very important in terms of, having an agency. And that's where you'll get a major difference when you're just doing it as a one-time freelancer wala thing and when you're doing as an agency wala thing, right? And then the last thing, you also need a professional email. So see, this is kind of debatable. You don't need to okay, we'll talk about it later. We'll talk about all of these things in detail, right, in a minute. So yeah, this is it, man. Like you just need a toolkit, you need a good website, you need professional email. Maybe professional, may not be professional, whatever it is. So let's get started. What are the tools necessary for you, right? First things first, what are the tools necessary? Simple. Let's actually divide this into a couple of parts. Like what are the, first thing, you need some tools. I mean, maybe softwares or these kind of stuff to communicate internally, right? For example, you need to talk to your team, you need to schedule all of those things, and you need to get in touch with your team members and all of those things. You also need to have like a proper timetable in which, this mode of communication is active, because you don't want to disturb your team while they're sleeping, because they'll be pissed off and then the company culture and all of those things will get spoiled. So you need a different medium. It's not WhatsApp. Like you can definitely get started with WhatsApp when you're just beginning and when you're tight with budget, or when you don't want to diversify in the beginning itself. But you need a couple of communications tools which are not your WhatsApp, regular WhatsApp, because very obvious, right? You can just get started. I'm not telling you that you can't get started with your WhatsApp. You definitely can, but with time you need to upgrade, right? And the next thing that you need is some tools to manage the content that you're throwing out into the clients and all of the stuff, and also to schedule a lot of things and all of these things. So basically you need a content management system, right? And the last thing that you need are some other miscellaneous things and all of the stuff, right? So let's get started with the first thing. What are the communication things that you need? First, you can either use Slack or Teams. Very simple. Don't complicate it. If you don't even know what Slacks are, most of the industry, most of the startups use Slack for like majorly internally communicating with the team. But if you don't want to do it, just download Teams, and you can. It's kind of like very intuitive. Like most of our schools, colleges also might have had Teams there. So just download Microsoft Teams or maybe Slack, whatever you want to do. You can also do it on Discord. Discord is also fine. So basically have this. Don't do it on WhatsApp, right? Because it gets much more easier if you do it in this way, right? You also need to have like a timeout from the work, basically work-life balance or whatever people want to call. So just do it professionally. Download Teams. It's kind of free if you if you're a small individual person and if you have like a very small team. So yeah, the first one, communication wala things, download Slack or Teams or whatever it is. And then the next thing, for content management, some people do it on Notion itself, but I would say you can also try Asana. Asana is also very good when you want to plan like the entire content, when you want to kind of have like a schedule for everything and post and all of those things. So Asana, Notion, these are for your management wala things, where you have like entire plan written when it terms of, when this is for example, imagine you just got started with an agency wala stuff, right? So you might be having like 2 or 3 clients. At that point of time, you can just do everything on the Notion page and do it on WhatsApp itself. Like you can just talk to the team on WhatsApp itself. But with time, you need to adapt, right? So if you're like, my genuine suggestion to you would be, don't complicate it while you're just beginning, right? Start simple. Start with the tools that you already have, right? Now with time, 3 months down the line, make some money. 6 months down the line, make more money. Then increase the team, what do we say? The size, right? Get more clients in, and then slowly upgrade, right? Upgrade to Teams or something like that, and then slowly upgrade to Asana and something like that, right? But basically, it's like these tools, whatever I'm mentioning, these should not be a reason for you to not start or to delay, right? Get started with whatever you have. So that's what I'm trying to say. Like, the best tools that anyone can use are the tools that they have right now, right? Don't overcomplicate it. You can spend a couple of time researching all of those things and adapting into your workflow at this point of time. But if these things become a barrier for you to get started, then avoid these things for a while, right? And then just get started with whatever you have, get in a couple of clients, and then slowly incorporate these tools into your workflow, right? Because I see most of you're not organized. You don't even like, there are so many things that you'd miss if you are not organized, right? So remaining, properly organizing the things, data, chats, the files, everything, all these things become very, very, very critical when you're trying to, scale up your agency, when you start, like, basically these things don't come in the beginning. In the beginning, you can just do whatever you want. But with time, if you want to scale, if you're playing at scale, you definitely need systems, right? You can't go through your WhatsApp text and all to see when did I send this message, where is this file and all of this stuff. Don't do that stuff. You'll waste a lot of time doing that, right? Take it. And the last thing you need some screen recording wala things also. Because I'm suggesting you this thing because you'll be talking to a lot of clients, right? Potential clients. And you'd actually go through, like, you also need to record that meeting, whatever is happening over there, because you need to review, right? For example, imagine you're trying to reach out to 100 different people, right? Among these 100 people, you got 5 sales calls, and you're just sitting in the meeting, right? And like after the day, you realize that none of these people got closed. None, like literally 0 of these people are closed. You need to, at this point of time, you need to record all these meetings, and you need to see where did you go right, and where did you go wrong, and so that these things will, it's very 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 important for you to actually have a notes of how you're doing these calls, right? Because without these you won't improve in your sales, and if you don't improve your sales for the things, then you're not going to scale your agency, that's for sure, right? So these screen recording wala tools become very 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 important. Download them, and whenever you're trying to talk with a client, don't mostly like try to avoid your phone and all. Try to do a proper Google Meet and stuff like that, right? And then talking about the next thing, you're done with the toolkit. These are, if I have to talk about it, I can talk about a lot of other tools, but I know for a fact that most of you at this point of time are students who are just getting started with building their own agency, right? So just get started with this, right? And with time, you'll see, like, you can definitely, like, just by using these small simple things, you can definitely scale, your, if you're just talking in terms of revenue, you can scale from maybe 5,000 rupees to 6,000 rupees that you're making right now to at least 3 to 4 lakhs or 5 lakhs in revenue every single month by just doing whatever I'm telling in this course right now, right? See, starting an agency, it's more about consistency, right? Just like how it is starting your own YouTube channel, growing on socials, growing on Instagram, all these things are about, the right strategy, right? And also being consistent, right? Imagine the first 100 people that you talk to, no one gets closed. It's okay, right? Always try for the next one. Like every single new project that you're starting in life, I truly believe that you should at least give 6 to 8 months for it to pick up. Because in this, like, if you give up before 6 to 8 months, then you're so stupid. Because first thing, you're a student right now, you don't have knowledge about a lot of things. So for if it's an expert, right, I would just tell them, okay, take him, just spend 3 to 4 months for each new project that you're starting in your life. At that point of time, you'll be able to do it. But if you're a student, you not have a lot of skills. At this point of time, what you have to do is get deeper into it. There'll be so many distractions. Your friends might be telling you, they might be doing something else. If you're from a tier 1 college, a tier 2 college, whatever it is, at that point of time, your friends will be preparing for internships and all of the stuff. But one thing that you have to remember is, if you have chosen to start your own agency, you need to give time for it, and you shouldn't get distracted for at least 6 to 8 months. 6 to 8 months of dedicated time, input will definitely give you results. That's what I would say. Like, keep learning, keep doing the stuff that you're doing. Try to get into, like, try to reach out, try to modify the, the sales pitch that you're doing, the mails that you're sending, try to modify them, try to get a better team. Maybe start with a very, very, very small team, right? Like maybe 2-3 people is also enough in the beginning, right? But what you have to improve as a agency owner is you need to be very, very, very strong in sales. Right? You need to close people, you need to get the deals, and you also need to deliver, because in the beginning, most of the people think that I should just make money. Money is not important in the beginning. In the beginning, what is more important is the brand name that you're building, because this brand name will affect a lot of things, right? Maybe in the beginning, for the first 2, 3, 4, 5 months, you're making like zero. What are the money that you're getting? You're just paying off for the team. It's okay, right? Because what you're not realizing is you are building your brand name. You are basically, whenever these clients, maybe in the 5 or 6 months, you have done 20, 30, 40 projects, right? And imagine these 20, 30, like there are like 10 clients. If you satisfy them with good work, these numbers will multiply, right? Each of these people can refer your work to multiple number of people, and you can just keep growing. But one thing that you have to make sure is you need to keep your team with you. First thing, you need to make your team capable of learning new things. Basically, you need better people in the team. And then also, you need to always over deliver. For example, if something is charging like 5 rupees for them, I told you in the last class also, right? It's not about giving discount. People forget the sweetness of a lower price, but not the bitterness of lower quality. Right? Always remember this. This is one of the biggest things that you have to consider while you're trying to grow your own agency and all of the stuff. Right? Okay, coming back to the lecture, the toolkit, this is done. Now let's talk about website. So what kind of website would I actually suggest you? I'll tell you, the more simple it is, the better it is. Right? You just need a website which is not like so complex, which is not like Apple ka website and all. Take a very simple template, right? Just change a couple of details. The website is just so that people know, okay, okay, these people are professional, right? Rest of the price card and all of the stuff, you can actually do it on Notion pages and all of this stuff, right? But just have a website which showcases your work and all of this stuff. It's basically a portfolio website, but not for an individual, but for the agency. That's it. And you also need to have like a contact button so that people can directly get in touch with you, or maybe directly have like a book an appointment over there, that people can directly schedule a call with you and you can get on the call and you can close the people, right? So whatever it is, it's your wish, whatever you want to do. But have a very simple website. And so my genuine suggestion would be like, just pay 3,000-4,000 if you can and get like a normal static website done. Or else what I tell you is just go to WordPress, right? It's very simple. You can find a tutorial on how to make a WordPress website in like 15 minutes. That's it. Just go to YouTube, search how to make this website and get it done, right? But have a website, like that is very, very, very important. WordPress has a lot of templates. You can directly search for like agency wala sab templates and all of the stuff on YouTube or directly on WordPress this stuff, and you'll get a lot of templates which you can directly change names over there. You can directly get a domain name very, very cheap. Like maybe you can use Namecheap or something like that, right? Namecheap.com. Buy a domain name, just connect them. That's it. You're good to go, right? So just have a website. I'm telling you, this is very, 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 very important, right? And the next thing, the last thing that I have to tell you is also get a professional email if you can. Also, if your budget is there. But I for a fact definitely know that most of you do not have the enough budget. Most of you, I can bet at this point of time, like 98%, 99% of you wouldn't have like, wouldn't want to waste a lot of money in the beginning. So what I tell you is just get started like a freelancer, make some money, right? Build some credibility in the industry, get some like something around 20 clients or something like that. Then try to hire a couple of people, right? You'd have already made some money. Don't spend all the money that you make, right? Keep it with you. Then try to hire a team, train them, right? And then delegate your work, right? Slowly start scaling it. Scaling it is the only thing that you have to do, right? But before that, scaling up is the only thing that you have to do once you get started and once you build that credibility factor in the industry, right? So in the beginning, I would tell you email, you can just use a personal email, right? That does the job. But while you want, like, if you want to build a kind of a scale of stuff, at that point of time I'll tell you get a business email, basically something like email get in touch .tharunspeaks.com or something like that, right? Get a business email and all of this stuff, even that will work, right? You can get this either in Google Workspace. It also has other like a lot of features, but you can also get it in Microsoft 365, right? So whatever it is, just get the I tell you, like, most of the times just a personal email also works, but if you want to expand and all of that stuff, at that point of time you need to. So what I tell you is you definitely have the access to this course for a long time. So for now, what you do is just get started with the tools that you have. Just get started with the website or the portfolio website that you have right now, right? Try to get your name and all of this stuff. Try to build credibility and all of this stuff. Invest some money, then get a professional email and all of this stuff. Grow as a freelancer and then set up your agency, right? Because if you don't do the work yourself at the first point, if you don't understand the industry by yourself, if you don't understand how clients talk and all of this stuff, if you don't understand the nature of the work in the agency, right? So at that point of time, you'll never be able to grow your own agency. So that's why I'm telling you, start the work as a freelancer, get the experience, get to know how everything works, and then diversify, then establish your own agency, right? Because imagine you don't do the work well in the first place at this point of time. You don't have enough experience. You don't have anything to build an agency. You don't know how clients talk. You don't know the urgency of the clients. You don't know the urgency of the projects that you're getting. If you don't understand the nature of the work and how this business works, you'll never be able to scale your agency. So that's why I'm telling you, be a freelancer for a couple of months, understand everything, then try to scale it up. I'm telling you this very, very, very rigidly at this point of time because I know for a fact that most of you wouldn't have started your own freelancing journey yet, right? I mean, most of you already started. I mean to say ki you wouldn't have done 2 or 3 projects at this point of time also, right? So get experience in it, get experience in the process, and then try to focus on the agency wala stuff, right? So with that being said, these are the basic essential things that you need to grow your agency. It's not rocket science. I'm telling you, it's not rocket science, but it's a lot of work, right? It's a lot of work ethic, and a lot of leadership skills required to grow your agency, right? To be a freelancer, you just need to be creative and you need to have a strong work ethic. But in order to grow your own agency, you also need just one more skill. What is that skill? The leadership quality, right? That is one thing that you have to develop in order to start, build, and grow your agency in a good way, right? That's it. It's not rocket science. A lot of effort, a lot of work involved, a lot of team and like team building and all of the stuff required, right? So talking about it in the next class, which is the class number 40, we'll be talking about the art of hiring, right? Because there was a very, 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 I'll continue in the next class. I'll see you. Bye-bye.